Oh, a new visitor from the woods. Welcome. Are you a lost wanderer? Tired of a long journey? Then join me. Sit beside the fireplace and let me tell you some stories that may soothe your mood as you regain your strength. Are you all set? Good. Before we begin, let's start with the favorite of our protagonist. Precision is the difference between a butcher and a surgeon. Is that line familiar to you? With a mind as sharp as the blade she bears, you probably don't want to mess with her. She is now more of a machine than a woman, classifying her as a cyborg. But if someone still wanted to bypass her, then that person should be ready to face the principal intelligencer of Clan Pharos. Her name is Camille Pharos, the Steel Shadow. As we all know, Piltover is a wealthy place located above Zon. It is a thriving, progressive city overlooking the ocean, since it's located between the Valoran and Shuriman continents. Fleets of ships pass through its titanic sea gates, bringing goods from all over the world. Merchant clans fund incredible endeavors, including artistic follies and architectural monuments, to their individual power. With ever more inventors delving into Hextech, Piltover has become the destination for the most skilled craftspeople across Runeterra. Being crowned as the City of Progress, Piltover has a lot of ways to earn money in their city-state, but the majority of those revolve around Hextech, a magical technology that fuses elemental and spirit magic to create exquisite artifacts that can be wielded by anyone. Not just the few people out there with a natural aptitude for the arcane. It harnesses the magical power contained within rare hex crystals to function properly. The origin of Hextech can be traced back to the early 900s AN, when the wealthy mercantile clans, self-governed councils, harvested rare crystals from the Brackern, an ancient species of giant sapient scorpions, a creature native to Shurima. Pharos clan is a member of mercantile clans, and their main role is intelligencer for Piltover, with the intent to govern the place better. Most of the family's wealth came through harvesting a rare crystal from the Brackern, just like the rest of the mercantile clans. These hex crystals, or first crystals, contained power normally only wielded by those born with innate magical ability. After Camille's great-great-aunt lost an arm during an early expedition, her sacrifice inspired the Pharos family motto, "For family will I give." And so, the Pharos clan continued to grow. They stood as one of the oldest mercantile clans within the city, boasting a lineage into future endeavors. Later on, the clan came to a point wherein harvesting hex crystals became problematic. Aside from the danger of the mission, Brackerns were a limited resource, not to mention that there were other clans of the mercantile that competed with the gathering too. Pharos' family had to find a different way, and that was when they realized to augment the crystals they'd accumulated. Utilizing shadow investments in chemtech and the runic alchemy, the Pharos clan began to perform multiple experiments, aiming to create a hextech version of themselves. With sheer determination and, of course, exceptional precision, they developed less powerful but easier to make synthetic hex crystals, a groundbreaking creation that could be the future of hextech in Piltover. However, this creation was controversial, and there were consequences along with it, especially during the manufacturing process. Synthetic crystal manufacturing has long been rumored to heavily contribute to the Zon Grey, the thick chemical atmosphere polluting Zon. Because of that, the family decided to take all measures, no matter how extreme, to keep the operation going. It was through espionage, intimidation, and murder that Clan Pharos did just to hold its monopoly on this priceless commodity and ensure its uninterrupted production in Zon, maintaining the family's place in Piltover's illustrious Blue Wind Court. The family's motto did turn into the darker side as the Pharos clan pulled the strings behind the curtain. Surely being the principal intelligencer for Piltover worked wonders for the family, and the Pharaoh's clan needed to hold on to this title in order to keep their family's secret. As the eldest surviving child of Pharaoh's masters, Camille received every educational advantage at a young age. She had exceptional tutors, learning to speak several foreign languages and play the cellovina at a concertmaster level, proving that every penny spent on her was worth it and showing great signs for the future of the Pharaoh's clan. Camille also learned to read and write ancient Shuriman, which was not an easy feat, while assisting her father on digs in the Odin Valley. Not all Shuriman can read the ancient scriptures, but thanks to the resources available, plus her sharp wit, Camille was ahead of her age. Traditionally, one of the younger children would become their family's principal intelligencer, working with the clan master to secure their family's success by any means necessary. This has been the setup since the Pharaoh's clan believes that the younger ones would be better at the front, while the older siblings would be the ones doing the dirty work. However, Camille's younger brother Stephen had a weak constitution. The principal intelligencer must be quick-witted and extremely knowledgeable about the laws and all the loopholes in the Piltover system. Unfortunately, Stephen could not keep up with the criteria. And so, Camille took his place, translating her skills to be the successor of the clan's position in Piltover. Stephen jealously watched Camille embrace her additional training, and she became quite adept in combat, reconnaissance, and interrogation. Aside from being an intellectual prodigy, Camille proves that she also has potential in physical combat, as well as exceptional communication skills. Her training continued throughout her teens up to her early 20s, and Camille's growth was unprecedented. Clearly, Camille was building up her resume to be the best pharaohs in their bloodline. Pharaoh's clan was striving, but of course, whenever someone gains tremendous success, becomes the target of someone else. When Camille was 25, augmented Zonite thugs attacked her and her father, with intent on stealing lucrative trade secrets. Everything unfolded too quickly, and even though Camille managed to protect herself, her parents were not as lucky as her. Camille's father succumbed to his wounds, and in anguish, her mother died soon after. The incident brought tears to the clan, and since they must still move forward, someone needs to fill the role of their parents. Since Camille was already on track as the family's principal intelligencer, Stephen became the clan master. He did get the position during unfortunate times, but Stephen won't waste the opportunity. He doubled the clan's research in human hex-tech augmentation, eager to prove himself as a strong leader. It took almost a year of mourning for both Camille and Stephen, but the two must continue pursuing greatness for the clan despite the emotional turmoil. In one fortunate day, Stephen oversaw the induction of Hakim Nadiri, a promising young crystallographer, from the Shuriman coastal city of Belzoon, as the family's lead artificer, and Stephen found out more about that project, making him stick his eyes to Hakim. On the other hand, Camille requested hex-tech augmentation from Hakim to push her beyond her human limitations. It seems like training was not enough for Camille. That's why she wants a body that can keep up with her ambitions. And Hakim is the one who can make that happen. Camille approached Hakim, and the crystallographer was instantly enamored with Camille. Hakim viewed the project as a way to get closer to Camille, and he was right. The two bonded over the preparations and late-night stories of Shurima, indicating that their interest was aligned as they enjoyed each other's company. Oftentimes, Camille and Hakim would meet up once they were done with their individual tasks and then proceeded to accomplish their goal, which just created more time for them to bond. And since there's an undeniable connection between the two, eventually, Camille returns Hakim's feelings. Looks like Hakim won the heart of the talented woman. Camille and Hakim's relationship grew reckless as they knew the surgery would conclude their time together. Hakim would move on to other projects, and Camille would once again be fully committed to the principal intelligencer's duties. More than that, Hakim worried that in carving away Camille's heart, he might remove her humanity, which also meant their love would be forgotten too. Both of them know the gravity of the situation, and they are aware of what will happen after the operation, which makes things harder for them. The bond between them was unexpected, but no matter what route they decide to take, the couple must be ready for the consequences. Eventually, all of the preparation was done, and the day for the operation was finally set. However, the situation has been unsettling for Hakim, thinking he can't lose Camille just like that. Days before Camille's operation, Hakim proposed marriage and begged her to run away with him. For the first time in her life, Camille was torn. She may be an exceptional woman, great in every field she learns, but love is something that even the best cannot simply handle. It's evident that Camille wanted to, but her responsibility for the clan was the one that stopped her from doing so. Stephen had no such conflict, as he needed Camille to execute his vision. When he learned of the secret proposal, he devised a plan that would awaken Camille's eyes and remind her what could happen if she left her place. The next time Camille and Hakim were together, Stephen set himself up to be attacked, triggering the past experience Camille had with their parents. When she saw her brother bruised and bloodied, Camille recognized the pattern. These harmful events happened whenever her attention was divided. Camille helped her brother without knowing that his plan worked on her, manipulating her trauma towards his benefit. After the incident, Hakim pleaded with Camille, telling her that was just unfortunate timing, but Camille wouldn't listen. For family, she would give, and that family motto was the only thing that was running in Camille's mind. She then ended her relationship with Hakim, insisting her surgery proceed as planned. Hakim was devastated, but he could not withdraw from the operation since he was the only one who could safely perform the task. And even though stepping away from the project would be the answer to stopping her, it would just create more problems, since the pharaoh's family would just hire another crystallographer, a risk that Hakim could not take. With a heavy heart, and for the last time seeing the love of his life, Hakim performed the operation, removing Camille's heart and replacing it with Hextech. The procedure was successful, but Hakim could not bear the result. He then resigned from his position and left the place. When Camille woke up, the lab she and Hakim had shared was abandoned. Just like they expected, Camille turned out to be a cold-hearted one. She was even labeled to be more of a machine than a human now. With nothing left to distract her, Camille focused on her work. She even took on further refinements, all hex augmentations, leading some to wonder how much of the woman was left. Once an elegant-looking woman, now a human with robotic features, she is very tall due to having, instead of legs, large prosthetic blades. Her hips are exaggeratedly large, housing her grappling lines. Her facial features are pale white skin and high cheekbones, thick lips, short platinum white hair, and piercing electric blue eyes. She now wears a cyborg armor of black, dark blue, and dark gray colors that cover the entirety of her body, aside from her face. And as Clan Pharos amassed more power and wealth, Camille's missions became darker and more deadly. She became more cold and ruthless, not allowing any emotion to interfere with her duties. Being born into one of the most powerful families in Piltover, Camille is now viewed as an aristocrat with an intense loathing of carelessness and mistakes. The virtues she values most are patience and precision, with no room for errors and emotions. Thanks to her Hextech heart, she did not age, but the years were not so kind to her brother. Yet even as Stephen's body grew more frail, his iron grip on the clan remained. The Pharaoh's clan continued their reign with Camille as the principal intelligencer and Stephen as the clan master. Throughout the years, Camille has been working for Piltover and her clan. As a stone-cold person, work was the only thing that pushed her up every single day. She managed to outlive almost everyone since her Hextech heart slowed down her aging, living over 80 years, but still looking like a woman in her early 40s. When everything seemed to be the way that it was, the past that was buried years ago came back again as Camille learned the truth. she uncovered the depth of Stephen's betrayal, realizing that everything she had done was built on her brother's manipulation. She could have had a different life, a life where she ended up with Hakim, but none of that matters now, because decades already passed by. Most probably, Hakim formed a family elsewhere, lying on his deathbed with his last breath. Camille also revealed that Stephen's machinations were no longer in the family's best interests. At that moment, she discarded the last sentiment she felt toward her brother. Good thing emotions had already abandoned her years ago, or else the news might break Camille into pieces. The least that Camille could do was to reinstate the Pharaoh's clan and remove the influence of his brother, and that she did. After installing her favorite grandniece as clan master, Camille now runs the family's public affairs, as well as its more shady operations. As a solver of problems, Camille embraces her more-than-human transformation. However, there had been a lingering emotion she was feeling lately. A strange, mournful keening in her Hextech heart may yet prove a troubling portent. Regardless, Camille refuses to sit idle. Dwelling on the past won't do any favors for her. And Camille also believes that everything is too late now. Only the present and future were the ones that matter. Camille gains invigoration from well-executed industrial espionage, a fresh-brewed cup of tea, and long walks in the grey, continuing her life as she looks forward to a better Pharaoh's clan. In the present day, Camille remained an ally to Piltover and its citizens. During the events of Convergence, Camille was entrusted with a mission to stop the Poindextrus, a chemo baron's family that has carried out illegal and extremely dangerous experiments at the expense of the Hextech crystals of the Pharaoh's clan. With the safety of the citizens on the line, Camille began with her investigations and gathered all available intel she could find. However, it was not only her who had been tailing Poindextrus. Later on, Camille found out that Echo, the Time Tinkerer, was the one who wanted to stop the Poindextrus, but his actions have been intervening in their movements. Echo has been an enigma for some. No one could understand his ways. Camille went to confront Echo herself and tell him that the only way to stop him from interfering further was to kill him. Now facing the threat, the two began to fight. Echo managed to incapacitate Camille, outmaneuvering her like Echo knew every bit of her moves. At that moment, Echo told Camille that he had met her, which Camille couldn't remember at all. Because of his claim, plus the result of their battle, Camille immediately deduced that there were two Echoes, present and future, who were trying to stop the Poindextrus chemo barons just like her. Future Echo proposed that they work together, upsetting the present Echo. Camille then left the place to find the remaining Poindextrus. It looks like that would be it for now, since the chaos in Piltover has been non-stop lately. After some time, another fight ensues. This time it is between Echo and Jinx, the one the Zonites idolize due to the chaos she brings. During the final fight against Jinx, she was about to throw explosives at Echo, but at that moment, Camille appeared and cut the explosives with her legs, leaving Jinx very surprised. Camille then took this opportunity to also attack Jinx. At first, Jinx took the lead, hitting Camille on the head, but Echo used his Z-Press to rewind that moment, to tell Camille to protect her head. Then, after a few hits, she managed to incapacitate Jinx, but due to a slight distraction, she managed to escape. It was a strange sequence of events, as if Echo was done orchestrating the battle so none of them would die. A lot of questions crossed Camille's mind, since Echo was the one responsible for saving her life when Jinx was about to pull out her trick, but at the same time could also be the one who let Jinx get away for some reason. Camille asked Echo if there was any way to contact his future self, to which Echo responded that there was a way, and the best action was to play along. Echo called his human self and told him that Camille was going to kill him for letting the Poindextrus go. Camille pretended to attack Echo with her blades, and future Echo appeared at that moment to stop her from landing the final blow on present Echo. Future Echo asked what was happening and realized that he had been set up. Camille proceeded to threaten him to reveal his plan unless he wanted her to get the information out of him herself. Future Echo said that the only way to avoid the catastrophe was to destroy the reserves of Syntixi and the reserves of Hextech crystals in the Pharaoh's clan vaults at the same time, which horrified both Camille and the present Echo. Future Echo subsequently escaped to search for more Syntixi. Present Echo asked Camille to go with him to Zon to try to find Future Echo's hideout and to discover his plan. The situation was indeed confusing, but thanks to Camille's intellect, she managed to grasp even just the surface of what was happening. Battling a time traveler would surely be too confusing, but maybe not for Camille. Up to this day, Camille has been solving multiple cases in both Piltover and Zon. Despite her lack of emotions, Camille can still show signs of empathy and teamwork, even collaborating with Zonites. Camille managed to unfold a lot of schemes throughout her career. Some may say that she knows who killed V's parents, but out of all the conspiracies that she solved, Echo's plans were the ones that left her scratching her head. A lot of factors affected her investigation. One of those was when a known serial killer visited Piltover. Kada Jin, the virtuoso, managed to plant countless schemes for his next act. Camille immediately intervened. She fought against Jin during his assassination mission in Zon, which affected her clan's business. Camille may be the best on her bloodline, but Jin was someone to not mess with. Everything was a theatrical murder scene for Jin, and what happened next remained unknown. Do you think Camille survived the battle against the maniac? Who knows? Maybe we could unfold this story some other time.